Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, and I'm standing in front of the Velodrome. We are in Marseille, the venue for the Springboks' final pool game of the 2023 Rugby World Cup. SA versus Tonga tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. It is the second last weekend of the group stages and very much ramping up, isn't it? We're now talking about must-win games, almost sort of playoff games for certain teams. Some teams are one win away from booking their spots in the quarterfinals. Some teams one win away from booking their ticket home. And for the Boks, a bonus point win is the only thing that matters tomorrow. We can worry about points difference at a later stage, get those 5 points, and then we wait to see what will happen between Scotland versus Ireland. But what we're going to talk about are the All Blacks, who put Italy to the sword last night, 96 points to 17. A very big win for the All Blacks, and it's difficult to gauge how good the All Blacks were versus how bad Italy were. Italy were quite upfront by saying they just didn't pitch up. Michel Lamaro was pretty heartbroken last night, saying it's difficult to point where the fault went. He said, but they just didn't arrive. Basically, this is a very strange All Black side. It's very difficult to gauge how good they are, how good they can be, because even in the last few months they've beaten the Boks and then been beaten by the Boks, both quite substantially. In the last couple of years they've lost to Ireland, they've lost to France, but they've also had some very positive results. So it's difficult to know how good this All Black side are and how dangerous they could be. But we're going to be talking a bit about the reaction from Director of Rugby, Rassie Erasmus, Director of SA Rugby, of course, who is back on Twitter and tweeting a lot. He was talking about the fact that his daughter's engaged to Andre Hugo Venter and having a bit of a laugh with Andre Venter on Twitter. But yesterday, during the All Blacks game rather, he gave sort of his seal of approval. 3 words: concise and clinical. That is how he described that New Zealand performance. And again, Rassie Erasmus doesn't just tweet for the sake of it. So, in his mind, he'll be putting that out there knowing that's going to cause a bit of a stir, that's going to get a bit of attention, that they know that he's watching, and obviously he'll be watching. And very respectful these days is Rassie Erasmus on Twitter. Or to be fair, on Twitter he's always been pretty respectful. Sometimes puts a little bit of ambiguity into his tweets, but he's very much trying to play the good guy at the moment. Talked about the refereeing and how good it's been. He's been talked about various different teams. He's talked about how amazing the supporters from South Africa, and then last night commenting on the performance. Well, technically we don't know officially if he is, but commenting during the game, pretty clear that that's what he's talking about. And I think 3 words that do sum it up. They were clinical last night with New Zealand. Every single time they had an opportunity, they scored. They came within inches, really, of breaking that 100 margin. Conceded 2 tries, which were good tries from Italy, it must be said, but at no point ever looked like they were going to struggle in that game. They started like a house on fire, and they just built their innings from there. And it goes to show, it doesn't matter who you are, if that New Zealand side does start strong, you could be in for a very long game. And that has been the case for the last 10 years, really. All the teams that compete against New Zealand, that have beaten New Zealand, have had to start strong and prevent them from starting strong. So the formula is still there. It's about staying in the game against New Zealand. It's about making sure they don't get away from you. It's how Argentina have beaten them. It's how the Boks have beaten them. If you allow them to start like they did last night, you're in for a long game. It's very unlikely we'll beat them. I wonder what you think. Rassie Erasmus has said concise and clinical. How would you describe that All Blacks performance? Let me know in the comments below. Smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, reporting from Marseille for Forever Sports, and we'll see you soon.